morning. So this morning, just want to talk for a quick second about why questions. A lot of times when someone tells us something, they just close something. Let's just say your friend comes to you and says, I was assaulted when I was a teenager, but I never reported it. We want to know why. That's the first thing that pops into our head. Why? Why did you do what you did? Why did you not do what you did? Why? What is the reason behind your choice? Well, it's an understandable question to want to ask. The problem with asking why questions is that it very, very easily becomes victim shaming or victim blaming. A lot of times when we are in a traumatized state, we don't know why. We do what feels safest, and that might be fight, it might be flight, it might be freeze, it might be fawn. We enter into a trauma response in a traumatized state. We're not thinking clearly and rationally with our frontal cortex, making logical decisions without any fear involved. No, when you're in a trauma response, your amygdala has hijacked your brain. You're in brain hijack. Your limbic system is on overload. You're defaulting to whatever feels instinctively like it's most likely to keep you safe. So when we ask someone who just closes something, why did you do that? Why didn't you report? Why haven't you left yet? Why haven't you gone to the police? Why didn't you press charges? Why did you go back? We may have a very reasonable, caring, compassionate mind behind it. You may not be intending to victim blame at all, but it comes across to the person and to others as placing, even subconsciously, placing the burden of what was done to them as their responsibility for either not stopping it, not fixing it, not changing it, or not reporting it. It's time that we don't ask why questions. A much better approach is, instead of asking, why did you do this? Why didn't you report? Why didn't you say something? Why have you been silent so long? There's a number of other questions. What would you like to do next? How can I support you in what you need right now? Where would feel safest to you at this moment? Which kind of resources do you need in order to be able to make an informed decision about what to do next? Have you described to yourself what you'd like the future to look like and what steps you might need to take to get there? When would you like to do something to help heal from this? What is your plan for the future? Or do you need help making one? And if so, how can I support you in that process? What, when, where, how, who questions are far more supportive overall, assuming that they are given in a tone and a vibe that is actually supportive. But if you're trying to be supportive to a friend who has experienced trauma and abuse, avoid why questions. Stick with who, what, when, where, how, which, what place, what time, in what ways can I help and support you? I see someone saying, all great questions, however, life doesn't work that way. Well, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. But I'll address what I think you might mean, and that is, a lot of times we just default to, well, why? And you're right. A lot of times that is our knee-jerk response, but we can retrain ourselves. We can train ourselves to ask better questions. When we know better, we can do better. So in our wild support groups, we really discourage why questions asked from one person to the other. We really discourage commenting with, well, why didn't you report? Or why do you feel this way? Or why? You can get the same information without using why, without putting the burden back on the other person. If you want to say, why do you feel this way? You can say, so what's causing your feelings? What things are contributing to your state of mind? What would it take that you can think of right now for you to begin healing? Are there steps that you've thought of that you need support in order to take them so that you can get better? One of the big reasons we do this also, before I'm done, is because abuse, just like Satan does, takes away the voice, the autonomy, and the ability to choose freely. It creates a worshiping robot out of the abused person in many ways. It creates a sense of violated voicelessness from the abused person. When we are wanting to help others, it is absolutely crucial that we do the same things that Jesus did. We return their voice. We return their sense of autonomy and decision making. We return their sense of freedom. We return their sense of ability to take action for themselves. And we offer choice. I would be happy to help you find all the options available to you so that you can make an informed decision for yourself. Because that is what brings someone back to, or for the first time, to a sense of autonomy, of personal decision, and of using their own mind to decide what they are going to do, for themselves. That is the role of every helper, supporter, counselor, therapist, interventionist, pastor, whomever, not to co-opt someone else's voice, but to return their freedom to make well-informed choices to do the right thing, to do the healthy thing, to do the healing thing. And that is a little bit of background about why it's good to avoid why questions and some options and alternatives on how to discuss, answer, and question in different ways. Have a great day.